Sometimes I just feel lazy. And feeling lazy to me, I have to almost define one of two ways. You feel lazy in truth, like you're just being lazy and you know it, or it's a state of mind. Lazy as a state of mind is a little more complicated. Lazy is something that nobody wants to feel. Everybody wants to feel productive. We all want to feel productive. You want to feel productive. But when you define it as truth, let's talk about that first. Truly lazy is actually knowing that you have the tools, knowing that you have the energy, knowing that you have the resources to do whatever it is that you want to do, and you just don't do it. And it happens over and over and over again. And you end up just sitting around all day long knowing that there's this long to-do list that just doesn't feel worth doing. Maybe it isn't. Maybe it's just a state of mind. And so this is one I battle with all the time. State of mind of lazy, right? That means I have to define, is it real or not? Do I feel lazy because I'm busy all the time? I'm working all the time. I have so many things going on in my life. You have so many things going on in yours that you sit and you actually take a break and relax, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I'm being so lazy. Why is it that you feel lazy when you're so productive all the time? How's that even possible? It is because we all feel it. I find myself in this state of mind on a regular basis. And there's a couple of things that I think are really important when you're defining this. When you're defining this, the key is really about self-awareness and almost a self-assessment. You know when you're being truly lazy, truthfully lazy. And I bet it's nowhere near as much as you think. But the reality is, if you self-assess, you'll usually find that you're being too hard on yourself, that lazy is a state of mind and your state of mind is off. Let me give you an example. I have so many friends that pick a weight. They pick a goal weight, and every time they get on the scale, if they're not at that goal weight, they feel defeated. They feel off. They feel like they failed themselves. They're fat. They're uncomfortable. And you know this is real. If it's not you, you know somebody that's done this before. And here's the reality. The state of mind is often lying to you. That weight is how many people start working out and all of a sudden they're like, oh my gosh, I'm not losing any weight. And the trainer will say, well, muscle weighs more than fat. But every time you get on that scale, you're like, nope, I said I wanted this weight. The truth is, the self-assessment and the analysis that we're putting on ourselves is too hard. We're wrong. We're overthinking something that is not even remotely true. So when I get on that scale and it's not the number I think, and I think I'm fat, I'm wrong. Well, the same thing applies to lazy, right? You're sitting around and you finally have a break. You're busy all the time. You've done way too much all week. You're breathing and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so lazy. Same thing, same thought, same mindset. The key is, how do you solve it? What are the key things that you can do that will help you solve never being lazy again? And when I say never being lazy again, I mean really defining it first, so you know when it's a state of mind and you're wrong, or when it's just truthfully real and you need to get yourself out of it. The first thing, number one, is discipline. Discipline is something that is so important to all of us. But for you, if you apply discipline to schedule, to habit, to everything that you're doing, it gets easy. I'll use a vacation as an example. We'll go back to working out because it's the example of lazy that everybody understands. I go on vacation all the time and I feel for the week that I just don't want to do anything. I just want to take a break. I want to breathe. I want to relax. We just went to Spain. I did 18 to 20,000 steps a day. I didn't need to go to the gym in the morning, okay? I felt good. But there are times where I go to the Caribbean and I sit around all day on a beautiful beach. I watch the sun rise, I watch the sun set, I have lots of drinks in between, and I fill my belly with food, and I feel lazy all week. And then I get back, and that first Monday, I have the choice. Do I go to the gym and keep my schedule, keep my habit, keep my discipline, or do I not? And I don't care who you are, you have had this choice and you have made both good decisions and bad decisions. I have as well. Many a times I've come back from vacation, I'm like, I'm gonna give it a week. I'm just gonna take another week off. My body needs it. I start making excuses. I get out of the disciplined habit. I get out of my schedule. I get off my normal routine. And what happens? I start to get lazy. Lazy becomes real and true to me because now 1 week, 1 day, 1 week turns into 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It could be a long process. And now I'm out of the habit. Now I've actually defeated myself in a way that I never intended, all because I didn't keep the discipline. Number 2 is all about the reboot. Okay, I use this analogy all the time, but sometimes you have your phone and it's overwhelmed and it has too many screens open, too many pages, too many texts, everything's coming in, and the phone needs to be rebooted or reset. Every computer has a moment where it needs to be rebooted to become full strength again. Lazy is no different. When we feel whether we're in a truthfully lazy space or just a state of mind, a reboot can fix that. The pause, the reassessment, the evaluation. Is it real? Is it fake? Am I lying to myself? What am I going through? Have I kept my disciplines? Do I just feel off because it was 1 day, or has it become 10 days? What is the situation? How about I just reboot and restart fresh? Every time you do that, you feel better. A reboot could be a moment. It could be a simple pause. It could be a day. It could be whatever you need. You're the only one that's gonna know what that reboot really means to you. But when you do it, you regroup, you reassess, and discipline becomes easier. Step number 1 became a lot easier for you because you were able to step back, reassess, regroup, and reevaluate what you need to do to get out of this rut. The next thing that I think is so important, the third most important thing, is what I call the 30,000 foot view. When you are taking a 30,000 foot view, you're prioritizing what's most important, but you're also kind of evaluating what's to come in the future. Now, why is this important? I'll give you an example. Sometimes, again, being lazy is nothing more than a breath before you go on another sprint or another long distance run. Sometimes life is full of sprints. Sometimes there's a couple of really long distance runs in there. And when you know you're going to have a long distance run, looking down from the 30,000 foot view, you can kind of see what's to come. And when you've looked at the discipline of your schedule, you've looked at the reboot and the regroup, and you've assessed the fact that you need to actually look at where you are right now and maybe make some changes because the rut is getting real, the 30,000 foot view adds validity to what you need to be doing. It provides you with the skill set that you need to kind of plan the future and know where to prioritize. What are the most important things? Who are the most important people? Where is my time going? Lazy could be lazy at work, or it could be lazy in health, or it could be lazy with your family. Maybe it's lazy in your faith. When I'm doing my assessments and I'm evaluating those 4 parts of life, I'm sometimes lazy in one and overactive in another. And so I need to make sure that when I'm looking at that 30,000 foot view, I'm prioritizing what needs to come next. If it's a sprint, then I'm ready for the sprint. But maybe I don't need to shake up too many things because a sprint is a short run. Maybe it's a really long run. Maybe I'm gonna be on a long couple of weeks of travel. And I know that it's gonna be intense and my family's gonna take some time and need some help. And I'm gonna be away in moments where they need some help. So I need to spend a little bit more time planning, a little bit more time investing in the who's in my life, the people I love the most, because I may be too involved in the impact work portion of my life. See, these are the things that prioritization and the 30,000 foot view allow you to do, and it shakes lazy out. It takes lazy out of it because I'm not being lazy, I'm taking a moment. And now I'm investing in who matters the most because I'm going to be putting a lot of energy over here. Sometimes lazy is needed to reboot, to get the discipline back, to reassess and prioritize. Sometimes you have to reverse the order. And the lazy only got you focused. It took you right where you were supposed to be, right from the beginning, and you didn't even know it was coming that way. Look for the good in any situation, but decide what you want to be. Do you want to end lazy in your life forever? You can. You can do that by following those 3 points, those 3 steps: the discipline, the reboot, the prioritization, the 30,000 foot view to evaluate the priority. And my last bonus step is grace. Give yourself love. Give yourself grace. Know that it's okay for moments. Just don't let it become the rut. You know you're better than that, and you have the tools to succeed at the level you want. If you found this helpful, then I think you'll really find the next video. If you want to click on this next video, I think you'll love it, because sometimes lazy is just overwhelmed. Sometimes we're just spinning out of control because you just don't know where to start next. And if you can overcome overwhelm, that can often be the recipe for success. And I walk you through the steps and the opportunities that exist in that moment so you can literally take control of it and move on to the next step and kick lazy forever.